If you think lasting 30 minutes makes you a great lover, you're dead wrong. And it might be killing your intimacy. Hello, gentlemen. I'm Dr. Mika Hayashi, a urologist with over a decade of experience helping senior men restore their vitality and confidence in the bedroom. Today, I'm revealing the shocking truth about how long you should actually last during sex. And I promise you, the answer is going to surprise you. Maybe even shock you. You've probably heard all the myths. 30 minutes is ideal. An hour makes you a stallion. The longer the better. All lies. Complete nonsense that's been destroying men's confidence for decades. Before we dive in, do me a favor, hit that like button right now, comment below, and tell me where you're watching from. And subscribe so you never miss expert guidance designed specifically for men over 50. Now let me share something that most men don't know. Here's the brutal truth. Most men are completely wrong about how long sex should last. A major study published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine surveyed 50 sex therapists, doctors, psychologists, and marriage experts who've treated thousands of sexual issues over their careers. These are the people who know the truth, not the myths from movies or locker room talk. Here's what they found. Sex lasting 1 to 2 minutes is too short. 3 to 7 minutes is adequate for most couples. 7 to 13 minutes is actually desirable. And here's the kicker. 10 to 30 minutes is considered too long. Let me repeat that. Too long. Another groundbreaking study tracked 500 real couples from 5 different countries for 4 weeks. They used actual stopwatches during sex, timing from penetration to ejaculation. No guessing, no exaggerating, just raw data. The average time, 6 minutes, not 30, not an hour, 6 minutes. The majority of men lasted between 4 to 11 minutes. And here's something fascinating. Men tend to overestimate their performance by about 31%. If you think you lasted 8 minutes, it was probably closer to 6. Now you might be thinking, 6 minutes? That can't be right. That seems so short. That's exactly the problem. Popular culture, movies, and adult entertainment have warped your expectations. They've made you believe that longer automatically equals better. And that false belief is causing unnecessary stress, anxiety, and disappointment for millions of men. Let me tell you why this matters so much for men over 50. Mistake number 1, believing longer is always better. This is the most damaging myth out there. Here's what actually happens when sex goes on too long. For women, prolonged penetration can cause discomfort, dryness, irritation, even pain. The vaginal tissues aren't designed for marathon sessions. After a certain point, natural lubrication decreases and friction increases. A 2020 study asked both men and women about their ideal duration. Both groups agreed the sweet spot is around 10 minutes, not 30, not an hour, 10 minutes. Women interviewed for research disclosed they desired an average of 15 minutes, but the actual average for most couples was only 13 and 12 minutes. And here's the key. When asked about satisfaction, most women reported being perfectly satisfied with sessions lasting 7 to 13 minutes. One woman in her 50s told researchers, "When it goes on too long, I start thinking about my grocery list. I'm not more satisfied. I'm more uncomfortable and distracted." Think about that. You're trying so hard to impress her by lasting longer, but you're actually making the experience worse for both of you. For men over 50, this myth becomes even more damaging. As you age, maintaining an erection for extended periods becomes more challenging. Testosterone drops about 1 to 2% every year after 50. Blood flow changes, sensitivity shifts. When you believe you need to last 30 minutes or longer, you set yourself up for failure, anxiety, and frustration. That performance anxiety then makes everything worse, creating a vicious cycle. Comment below right now. Did you believe longer was better? Let me know. Mistake number 2, ignoring what actually creates pleasure. Most men focus entirely on penetration time. That's a massive mistake. Here's what research actually shows. A study found that couples who experienced 5 different sexual acts during one session, think variety, not just penetration, reported orgasming more than 89% of the time. Read that again. 5 different acts, not 5 rounds of penetration, 5 different types of stimulation. What does this mean? Pleasure comes from variety, connection, and technique, not from pounding away for 45 minutes. For women especially, orgasm rarely comes from penetration alone. Studies consistently show that only about 25% of women regularly orgasm from penetration. The vast majority need clitoral stimulation, emotional connection, and varied touch. So when you obsess over lasting longer during penetration, you're focusing on the wrong thing entirely. You're missing the forest for the trees. One patient in his late 50s told me something powerful. He said, "I spent 30 years trying to last as long as possible. Then I started focusing on foreplay, oral, using my hands, connecting emotionally. My wife told me the sex became 10 times better, and I was only penetrating for maybe 7 or 8 minutes. That's the truth nobody talks about. Connection, variety, and attentiveness matter infinitely more than duration. If you're finding this helpful, hit that like button and drop a comment. Which mistake resonates most with you? Mistake number 3, not understanding age-related changes. Many men over 50 panic when they notice they're not lasting as long as they used to. Here's the reality. A recent 2024 study looked at how duration changes with age. Men in their 20s average around 13 minutes. Men in their 50s average around 11 minutes. Men over 65 average around 8 minutes. That's completely normal. It's not a failure. It's biology. As you age, several things change. Erections become less predictable. Climax timing becomes more variable. Testosterone decreases. Blood flow changes. Prostate issues become more common, with up to 90% of men over 80 experiencing some enlargement. But here's the encouraging part. Sexual health experts emphasize that intimacy, skill, and connection often deepen with age. Taking time with warm-ups, sensate focus techniques, and incorporating variety can keep experiences incredibly pleasurable, even if penetration time decreases. One sexual health nurse said, "What matters most at any age is communication, technique, and plure, not the stopwatch." I had a patient, a man in his early 60s, who came to me devastated because he was only lasting about 6 minutes. He thought something was terribly wrong. I showed him the research. 6 minutes is perfectly normal. Actually, it's right at the average. Once he understood that, his anxiety disappeared. And you know what happened? His performance actually improved because he stopped worrying and started focusing on connection and plead instead. Stick with me because the next section reveals what you should actually focus on instead of duration. Mistake number 4, comparing yourself to unrealistic standards. Stop watching movies and adult content for sexual education. They're fiction, not reality. The average adult film scene is heavily edited, uses performance-enhancing drugs, involves multiple takes, and features performers who've trained for years specifically for that industry. Comparing yourself to that is like comparing your weekend basketball game to LeBron James. It's absurd and damaging. A fascinating study found that men often overestimate their duration by about 31%. If you think you lasted 9 minutes, it was probably closer to 7. And here's the thing, 7 minutes is completely adequate and satisfying for most partners. Research from Pennsylvania State University found that sex therapists rated 3 to 7 minutes as adequate and 7 to 13 minutes as desirable. Anything beyond that enters the too long territory. One marriage therapist I know said something brilliant. She told me, "I've counseled hundreds of couples over 30 years. Not once, not a single time has a woman complained that her partner only lasted 8 minutes. The complaints are always about lack of foreplay, emotional disconnection, or selfish behavior. Never about duration being too short in the adequate range." Let that sink in. The problem you're obsessing over probably isn't even a problem for your partner. Comment below. Have you been comparing yourself to unrealistic standards? Be honest. No judgment here. Mistake number 5, not addressing premature ejaculation if it's actually a problem. Now, there is a real condition called premature ejaculation, and it affects about 30% to 40% of men at some point in their lives. Premature ejaculation is defined as consistently ejaculating within 1 minute of penetration or before you or your partner wants it to happen, and it causes significant distress. 1 minute, not 6 minutes, not 8 minutes, 1 minute or less. If you're consistently lasting less than a minute and it's causing problems in your relationship, that's worth addressing. But if you're lasting 5, 6, 7 minutes and just feeling anxious because you think you should last longer, that's not premature ejaculation. That's a mindset issue, not a medical one. For men over 50, premature ejaculation can actually become more common, often linked to erectile dysfunction, prostate problems, or performance anxiety. Studies show that about 1/3 of men with erectile dysfunction also experience premature ejaculation. These conditions often appear together. The good news, both are treatable. Techniques like the start-stop method, pelvic floor exercises, and certain medications can help. Open communication with your partner is also incredibly powerful. One patient told me once I talked to my wife about my concerns. She told me she never even thought it was a problem. She was perfectly satisfied. All my anxiety was completely in my head. That's more common than you think. Now, what you should actually focus on, forget the clock. Here's what actually matters. 1. Prioritize foreplay. Spend real time on kissing, touching, oral, and building arousal. This is where most plead happens for women. Don't rush this. Make it the main event, not the warm-up. 2. Focus on variety. Use your hands, your mouth, different positions, different types of touch. Remember that study? 5 different acts led to 89% orgasm rates. Variety wins. 3. Emphasize emotional connection. Make eye contact. Use affirming words. Be present. Women consistently report that emotional connection matters more than physical duration. 4. Communicate openly. Ask your partner what feels good. Adjust based on her feedback. This single habit will improve your intimate life more than any technique. 5. Understand that adequate is enough. If you're lasting anywhere from 3 to 13 minutes, you're in the normal, desirable range. Stop stressing and start enjoying. 6. Seek help if you need it. If you're consistently under 1 minute and it's causing distress, talk to a doctor. It's treatable. Don't suffer in silence. 7. Remember, your age is an advantage. You bring experience, patience, emotional maturity, and the wisdom to focus on what actually matters. Use those strengths. One couple I worked with completely transformed their intimate life by following these principles. The husband was 62, lasting about 7 minutes on average. He'd been feeling inadequate for years. Once he shifted his focus to foreplay, variety, and connection, his wife reported the best sex of their entire marriage. Same duration, completely different experience. Gentlemen, here's what I need you to understand. The idea that you need to last 30 minutes or longer is a myth. It's damaging, it's false, and it's ruining intimacy for millions of couples. The truth. 3 to 13 minutes of penetration is perfectly adequate and desirable for most couples. 6 minutes is the average. And what matters far more than duration is connection, variety, foreplay, emotional presence, and responsiveness. Your age doesn't make you less capable. It makes you more capable because you have the wisdom to focus on what truly matters. Real intimacy, not performance metrics. Tonight, stop watching the clock. Start watching your partner. Pay attention to her responses. Focus on connection and plead, not duration. I promise you, the experience will improve dramatically for both of you. If this video helped you, hit that like button right now. Comment below and tell me what surprised you most. Which myth were you believing? And subscribe for more expert guidance designed specifically for men over 50 who want real confidence and real results in the bedroom. I'm Dr. Mika Hayashi. Small mindful shifts today create deeper connection, greater confidence, and more satisfying intimacy tomorrow. Your age is your advantage. Now go use it.